In this video, I'll be showing you what you need to know before retiring at 55 with $2.5 million saved, and why that balance doesn't mean you're set. It means you're sitting inside a 20-year tax structure the IRS will ultimately control unless you intervene first. Through working with clients at this savings level, I've discovered that most people think money was the hard part. It was not. The hard part is neutralizing a tax code designed to extract income from your pre-tax accounts at very fixed points whether you're ready or not. And that's exactly why I'm making this video today, to show you the timing windows you need to model before Medicare, Social Security, and RMDs trigger in the background, so that you can retire with control instead of drifting into a system that punishes inaction at scale. And with that, let's dive right in. So what do most people get wrong about retiring with $2.5 million? It's the magic number fallacy. We've been told for decades that once the screen shows a certain digit, you can just stop. You assume the accumulation was the hard part and that spending will take care of itself. That was a nice thought, and it's also wrong. See, the $2.5 million is a great number, but $2.5 million in the wrong accounts, specifically heavy concentrations in pre-tax IRAs or 401ks, creates a tax problem that compounds every year that you ignore it. You don't just own that money. You are a co-owner with the IRS, and they are a very demanding silent partner. The IRS has built-in triggers at 63, 65, and 73 that will extract income from you on that very schedule. They aren't interested in your lifestyle goals, but they're very interested in their own revenue goals. The retiree who thinks they're set is often the one who gets blindsided by a tax bill that they didn't see coming. They think they're in the driver's seat, but they're actually handed the keys to a system that will sequence it for them. So what does the system sequencing you actually mean? It means at 55, you feel free. But at 63, you start losing ACA subsidy eligibility if your income creeps up even $1 over the limit. It means at 65, Medicare IRMA pricing kicks in and your premiums jump, not based on what you're doing now, but based on income from 2 years ago. It's like a ghost of taxes past. And then the heavy hitter. At 73, required minimum distributions force withdrawals from your IRA whether you need the money or not. If you don't intervene before these triggers hit, the government decides how much income you have and when. You become a passenger in your own retirement. So you've got triggers at 63, 65, and 73 that are coming whether you're ready or not. Now let me show you what happens if you retire and do nothing about them. Let's look at the wait and see approach. This is the strategy of the person who says, I'll just live off my taxable brokerage account and let my IRA grow. It's safer that way. But is it? Your IRA grows untouched for nearly 2 decades while you live off other assets and keep working maybe. On paper, it looks brilliant. Your net worth is climbing and you're winning, right? Well, that growth sounds great until you realize it's building a larger and larger RMD problem at 73. Let's do some back of the napkin math, the kind that keeps the CPA up at night. If you have $2.5 million today and it grows at a modest 6% for another 18 years, that account becomes $7 million by the time you hit age 73. Now, $7 million sounds like a win until the IRS knocks. At 73, they're going to force you to take roughly 3.6% of that account. That's an RMD north of $280,000 per year. The let it grow strategy creates the exact tax bomb that it was supposed to prevent. And so why does the timing of RMDs make it worse? Because RMDs start at 73, which is exactly when Social Security is usually in full swing. If you've waited until 70 to maximize that Social Security payment, which is often a smart move, you might be pulling in $50,000 to $60,000 a year from the Social Security Administration. Now stack that on top of a $280,000 RMD. Suddenly, you're looking at $330,000 in taxable income. At that level, you aren't paying more tax, you're triggering maximum IRMA surcharges on Medicare, and you're pushing every dollar of your capital gains into the highest taxable territory. By the time you realize you're in trouble, the Roth conversion window that could have prevented this is completely closed. You're no longer planning, you're simply complying. So doing nothing turns the $2.5 million into a tax explosion at 73. But here's the good news. You've got almost 20 years to prevent it. The years between 55 and 63 are the golden window. If you retired early, or even if you just pivoted to a low-income consulting job, these are the most valuable tax years of your entire life. Why? Because this is likely your lowest income period. You have the ultimate luxury, a low tax bracket and a high net worth. During this window, you can live off your taxable brokerage assets, the money you've already paid taxes on, while keeping your modified adjusted gross income low enough to qualify for those ACA subsidies. I've seen people save $15,000 to $25,000 per year on health insurance just by being surgical about their income. That's $200,000 over 8 years that stayed in your pocket instead of going to the insurance carrier. Most early retirees leave this on the table because they get lazy about their withdrawals. And remember this, one large uncalculated IRA withdrawal in this window can disqualify you from subsidies and cost you real money. It's like tripping at the finish line. So what should you actually be doing with your IRA during this window? This is your time for tax bracketing. You perform Roth conversions at 12 to 24% rates. The rate that makes sense will depend on how much you have saved and what your future RMDs actually look like. You are essentially prepaying the tax at a discount to move money out of your IRA before RMDs force it out at much higher tax brackets later. Think of it as a fire sale on taxes. If you convert, say, $100,000 per year for 8 years, you've moved $800,000 into a Roth environment at rates that you control. That $800,000 now grows tax-free forever. It's no longer part of your RMD calculation at 73. You've successfully defused a portion of that tax bomb. The math is simple. Most people don't do it because they don't realize the window exists. They're busy staring at the $2.5 million and not the 20-year horizon. Now that you see how the 55 to 63 window works, if you want help building your dream retirement as a whole, click the link below to book a call, where I'll analyze your specific situation and show you how to optimize your plan altogether so that you can apply this to your own situation. Now at age 63, the game changes. This is the look-back year. ACA subsidy eligibility becomes significantly harder to maintain as you approach Medicare age. The income thresholds are very precise. Going over by even a few $1,000s doesn't just reduce your subsidy, it can cost you the entire thing. It is a cliff, not a slope. This is where you need to be most careful about the size and timing of those Roth conversions that we just talked about. The retiree who converts too aggressively at 64 can lose $20,000 in subsidies trying to save $10,000 in future taxes. That's just bad math. And then there's the Medicare handoff at 65. Most people think, I'll worry about Medicare when I'm 65. And the IRS looks at you and says, that's nice. Medicare IRMA premiums, the extra surcharge high earners pay, are based on your income from 2 years prior. That means what you do at age 63 determines what you pay for Medicare at 65. If you take a massive capital gain or a huge Roth conversion at 63 without accounting for the 2-year look-back, you're going to get a very unpleasant welcome to Medicare gift in the form of double or even triple premiums. Most people don't connect their conversion decision at 63 to their premium bill at 65 until it's too late. They treat them as completely separate silos, but in the eyes of the government, it is all one big pot of money. So the ACA to Medicare handoff is handled. Now let's talk about what you do with the 8 years before RMDs start. You've hit 65, you're on Medicare, and you've survived the ACA cliff. Now you're in the home stretch, the years between 65 and 73. This is your last chance to flatten the tax curve. Once RMDs start at 73, your flexibility is gone. Any Roth conversions you try to do then will stack on top of those forced distributions. It's like trying to fill a bucket that's already overflowing. The window between Medicare and RMDs is finite, and every year that you wait, it shrinks. I call this the conversion sprint. Aggressive conversions at 22 to 24% brackets in your late 60s almost always beats passive RMDs at 32% or higher once you're in your 70s. The retiree who uses this window fully can cut their lifetime tax bill by $100,000 or more. That's a legacy for your kids, another 5 years of first-class travel, simply by moving money from one pocket to another. How much should you be converting? There's no rule of thumb here that isn't dangerous. The goal is to fill your current tax bracket to the absolute brim without spilling into the next one or triggering the next tier of IRMA surcharges. With $2.5 million, you might be looking at converting $80,000 to $120,000 a year, but the right amount depends entirely on your Social Security timing and what other dividends and interest are actually hitting your tax return. Doing this calculation wrong can cost you in IRMA surcharges or wasted bracket space. It is literally a game of inches. Now that you see how the conversion sprint works, let's talk about one more thing most couples completely ignore until it's too late, so you can get the whole picture. This is the hardest part of the conversation, but it's the most vital for a $2.5 million portfolio. What happens to your tax picture when one spouse dies? Beyond the emotional toll, there is a massive financial shock. The surviving spouse drops from married filing jointly to single filer status. When that happens, the tax brackets will compress dramatically. The standard deduction is essentially cut in half. Income that fit comfortably into the 12% bracket as a couple can now suddenly land in the 22 to 24% bracket for a single filer. But here's the kicker. The RMDs don't stop. The same R&D that was manageable when you were together becomes punishing when you're alone. It's the widow's tax, and it's one of the most overlooked risks in retirement planning. This is why we model survivor scenarios now while both spouses are healthy and active. We run the numbers assuming one spouse passes at maybe 75 or 82, and we see what happens to the tax picture. Usually, it reveals a massive tax spike that the survivor can't absorb without depleting the portfolio at a faster rate. Roth conversions done now, while you have the benefit of the married filing jointly brackets, reduces the RMD problem for whoever survives. It's quite literally one of the most loving things that you can do for your spouse, ensuring their final years aren't spent funding the IRS's budget. The couples who plan for this while both are alive protect whichever spouse outlives the other. Now that you've seen why $2.5 million at 55 doesn't mean you're set, but actually means you're sitting inside of a 20-year tax structure that the IRS will control unless you intervene, and how the window between 55 to 63, 63 to 65, and 65 to 73 each create specific opportunities to flatten your lifetime tax curve before RMDs, IRMA, and surviving spouse brackets take over. You can start treating retirement not as a finish line, but as a sequencing problem that rewards action and punishes delay. The system is designed to work for the government. Your job is to make it work for you. If you want help building your dream retirement, click the link below to book a call, where I'll show you exactly how to model these windows for your specific situation before the system models them for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.